Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. SSBT College of Engineering and Technology, Jalgaon, organizing AICT sponsored online short term training program on digitally controlled power converters for industrial and renewable application phase 3 under AQI scheme from 14th to 19th December. So, today is the day 3. This is the practical session. I request National Infotech team to take a charge of this session. Uh, he will Now, topic for the lab is implementation of PV inverters. So I request Junaid and team, please take a charge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for introduction. Okay. So our topic, that means state the topic of today is the grid synchronization using PLL and FLL. So implementation of PV inverter is scheduled for tomorrow. So we will see the different PLL and FLL technique, the synchronous reference frame and second order general integration frequency lock loop, the theory and every aspect we will see how we can implement and how we can create a code using our Python environment. So with that, we have to understand this. We have today with us Mr. Rajan Wamja. He is a fellow PhD scholar at the SBNIT Surat. So he'll be taking over from today. Uh, so over to you, Rajan sir.
Thank you, Junaid. So, am I audible properly, Junaid?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Okay. So, I am sharing my screen. When it is visible, just let me know. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. And first slide.
Yes, visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, everyone, welcome here in this session. So, first of all, I here, as Junaid and Sir Paresh sir explained that we are going to learn in this next 3 days laboratory how we can implement the grid connected inverter, or many names are there, like we can say grid synchronized inverter, generally grid tied inverter. So many names are given to the this topology, where 6 switches are there, some interfacing inductor LC or LLC or only L. Such interfacing things will be there in between grid and inverter. In a DC link, you can connect some renewable source as well as you can connect some battery. So if you want large storage, some storage equipment, so in microgrid application. So in this session, what we are going to understand is the how can we interface inverter, and for that what things is are required. So out of that, the most important thing what we have learned is accurate uh, grid angle estimate. So that is required for implementation of different methods. There are many different methods to interface the grid tied inverter, or we can say that control the grid tied inverter such that it will synchronize with the grid, as well as it will transfer the active as well as reactive as well as power according to our need. So this grid tied inverter is capable to transfer active, reactive, as well as harmonic power with the grid. So there are many control techniques are there. So major part or common part is grid angle estimate. So in this session, we are going to see the two techniques. So the two techniques is highlighted here. One is SRPFL and second is SOGIFLM. These two are very fundamental. There are many advanced techniques, but here we will demonstrate that how can we implement such powerful techniques like SRFPRL. It is very generalized and very old technique. How can we implement in the control? Generally, many are knowing theory also, but they are facing problem while they are how we implement that experience. I will share here with this PPT. as well as if you are not even knowing this, what is the SRF PLL, SOGAF, we will try to brief it. So before understanding SRF PLL, we should very much clear about the reference frame. So what are the reference frame? Generally in the drive subject also this reference frame is very important, as well as when you go for application of renewable application or grid tied inverter or any active filter or such grid tied inverter related application, you should know or you should very clear related to this reference frame. So we are firstly we will see the difference between second also stationary, but that is a two-phase stationary. First one is three-phase stationary reference frame, and third one is rotating reference. After coming to rotating reference frame, after clarity of this subject, after that we will touch up the transformation. After that directly we will shift to SRF PLL. So after understanding this, we can have some base to understand the SRF PLL. So if once we understand the SRF PLL, then we will go for implementation aspect. Then we will see the demonstration that how we have implemented actually and how in your laboratory also same thing how you can implement it. So with this, can I start now? Am I audible to everyone properly? You can put your comment anytime or you can ask any question if you have. But I will try to make it more interactive because otherwise it will become boring or what I am delivering is reaching properly or not. That is also I cannot understand. So what I feel is you should give some answer in between when I ask some question. So let us start with the first concept. I will skip this basic power transfer because it is not useful for this session. Okay. So if I go, can anyone respond that what is this? Anyone can unmute their mic and they can speak? Hello. Am I audible?
Sir, it is a Parkes transformation and Clark transformation.
Okay, then can you say more about this? More word in word. Exactly in the word Clark and transformation is like, but physically it is required for many people are knowing that something is something is but what in
Sir, it is like suppose
yes sir.
as you have discussed in the previous previous session that if you want to control the induction machine like a DC machine, then we need to convert this three phase frame into alpha beta frame and corresponding DQ frame.
Right. So now here most important thing is I focus in this figure. Now you see. Can you say what is this figure? First, only this middle one figure. What is that figure? Can anyone say? It look like what? Yes, some madam is showing SVM. Other answer? Any other answer? It is not SVM. Can anyone say what is this? It is electrical machine. You can see. It is like induction motor or synchronous motor. It is just some stator is there. Over the stator, some winding is there. So A dash, B dash, C dash. But here, this space vector. So that space vector is the one concept that is derived from the theory of that rotating magnetic field. Many of us are knowing what is rotating magnetic field. When three windings in the space shifted electrical degree in the space by 120 degree to each other, like A winding, then B winding, then C winding. They are electrically shifted by 120 degree in the space. And when current passing through that winding also shifted by 120 degree electrical. This is the 120 degree electrical shifted current. When it passes, it generates a space vector or rotating magnetic field in the space. The same concept is utilized here in the theory of grid connected inverter application, or many applications they are using this theory. So in general, there is no there is there is no winding, but we are assuming that this A current or voltage, whatever quantity, some alternating quantity, is passing from some axis. Now I will show you some axis. I will show you some axis. So now you focus. This is A axis, B axis, and C axis. So what I mean by A axis is your A quantity will vary like this, like this. It will increment slowly. It will increment. Then it will again decrement like this. It will decrement. It will go like this: increment, decrement, increment, decrement, increment, decrement. So it will change in the axial manner. You can see. So here in this quantity you can see A. So if I play it again, you can see. So your A quantity, whatever A dot is there, it is moving in this axis, A axis. So A axis in the space can be represented by the line. So this line is represented by A. It is represented by this A axis. Then B current is represented over B axis, and C current or voltage can be represented over C axis. So vector sum of these three will become a rotating vector. That is this. So this is called as a space vector corresponding to these three AC quantity. This is called the space vector corresponding to this three AC quantity. Means in the space, this is the space. In the space, this space vector is representing three AC quantity. Three AC quantity it is representing. That three AC quantity is having the same magnitude, Vm. You can see it is having a Vm magnitude. This is also having some Vm magnitude. It is also having some Vm magnitude. Same magnitude, but phase 120 degree to each other. If such three quantity are there, three AC quantity, that can be represented as a space vector. Is it clear now? Is it clear to everyone? This is ABC frame is clear. This is called ABC frame. This is called ABC frame. ABC. In the space, three axis. Effect of first A, B also linear, C also linear. The resultant will be some space vector. But more thing is origin X. Hello. Please, anyone can respond. Please respond. What is this origin axis? I wrote something origin axis. That is not given anywhere. So what do you mean by this? Can anyone respond over it?
It is like a reference.
But how can we decide this is only reference? We can give somewhere here also. This can be reference. This can be reference. This can be reference. Why I gave here only? That is question. So in any book you will not find it. So why I took reference there only, and I gave some name origin axis. Can you respond it, or no idea?
No idea, sir.
So okay, thank you. So let me try brief it. Okay, so we are having a 3 voltage. I can say V voltage the same Vm. So it is having some angle sine omega t minus 120 degrees. Okay, and third one is sine omega t minus 240. Am I correct, sir? These three voltage we are taking. Am I correct? So now I am saving name. This first one name is I am giving as a theta A. Second name I am giving as a theta B. And third angle at which this alternating quantity is rotating. Is this clear about theta A, theta B, and theta C? Is this clear, sir? Theta A, theta B. This equation is clear. It is very much clear. So here theta A is nothing but angle of A. Angle of A. Theta B is angle of B, and theta C is angle of C. So when omega t is equal to 0, when omega t is equal to 0, so in this equation if we see, when omega t is equal to 0, theta A will be 0. Theta A will be 0. So it will point here, that is 120 degrees. And theta C will start from here. So we can say that when omega t is equal to 0, omega t is equal to 0, A magnitude will be 0. A magnitude will be 0. B magnitude will be minus. So this is the B magnitude, that is minus. And C magnitude will be at omega t is equal to 0. At omega t is equal to 0 from this origin axis. From this origin axis. Is this clear? It is like a reference. Your answer was right. But maybe you was not clear that it is like this or not. Your answer was right. So I can say that in the electrical terms, electrical from the time angle. Sorry, this was the time angle theta A. That will become your space angle. Space angle means angle of space vector. This is theta V. That is very important to know. This is very important to know to understand the SRF theory. Okay. So is this clear now? Your space vectors start rotating in ABC's frame from origin axis. Origin axis means 90 degree behind the A axis. You can see it is 90 degree behind. Voltage A. Voltage A means A voltage. And its angle is omega t. Is this clear now to everyone? Can we go forward? Hello. Is this clear? Please respond. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Or it is confusing? Okay. I'm going forward. So this was about ABCD frame. ABC frame. At speed omega. At speed omega. Okay, it is rotating at speed omega. It's starting from 90 degrees. Alpha beta. This was the ABC frame. This is alpha beta. Alpha this is the thing you can see. So you can see We are alpha is equal to 0. Alpha is equal to 0. At that omega is equal to 0. So omega don't say that is you. And that omega can be also. So then you can represent both the space in okay. Is this is the beta axis of station? Can anyone speak some about 2 3 lines about this slide, please? Okay. Oh, this slide or content. Can anyone brief about it? Hello. Can anyone? So we have can start whatever beta axis, origin axis, and DQ axis. If I see, so collectively, if I see, so DQ axis is rotating, whereas speed of D axis should be end of the initial end of the axis. How can we decide? How can we decide this? Very important. So to track a space vector, then by tracking that space vector, our D axis we need to keep over the space. Here you can say exactly our D axis and Q axis are rotating at the same speed of D axis. Sorry, can anyone say? choice is not clear. Okay. So my question, if having this, so I can say that whatever black color space vector is there, that space vector magnitude is Vm, is Vm. So can anyone say that what is the value of D? Can anyone say what is the value of VD and VT? It will be 0, 1, or it is not clear what I am asking. Am I audible? Hello? Is it going right or wrong? Hello? Okay. Audio is correct.
Madam, Junaid, is it clear now?
Yes, sir, it is clear. But sometimes it is cracking your voice.
Will not come. Not.
Okay.
Or other we can say vector is already present. We are rotating our axis such that it will always overtake the So now this condition we want to achieve generally. So in so there are three cases. So first case I'm explaining that. So our vector is rotating and the dx is also rotating at a same theta v. This theta v is nothing but omega t. That is our theta a. That is nothing but our angle of VA. VA is equal to Vm sin omega t. That is nothing but omega t. So our space vector is containing the information of grid angle. So now our task is theta dq, which is unknown. Right now we don't know the speed of the dq frame. At what speed we need to rotate this. So if I am taking some omega 1 frequency, omega. Second case is omega 1 greater than omega. That is also possible. And third case is omega 2, omega 1 less than omega. These are the three possibilities. These are the three possibilities. So our space vector can rotate fast. Here you can observe that our d-axis and our vector is are rotating at the same speed. That is nothing but reference frame. So on theta v, that theta v is corresponding to our omega. Omega is means our angular frequency or our frequency. It means synchronous reference frame. So now we are going to control this dq axis such that only in system. So this is the second. This is the third. Vector is moving faster than our d. Vector. Vector so we can omega. Yes. Yes. Is it clear?
So it is breaking sometimes.
Okay, so you just let me know so I can repeat it. Okay.
Okay.
You can simultaneous. This is quite so you can this E is that for clear.
Yes.
You can put
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Thank you, Parasar. So now this is file. We will see that how we can implement in the program or in the controller, microcontroller, that we will see. So here some 3 voltage we are having. This is known. Same magnitude, but they are shifted by 120 degree to each other. These 3 voltages are available, or we can sense this 3 voltage using or while you synchronize your inverter with the grid. So here this 3 voltage will be there, means we are having the vector information. We are having a vector information. This is the V vector information. So we are DC to alpha beta, then alpha beta to DQ. This is 3 phase to 2 phase and 2 phase rotating. So now here 2 value we are having. One is VD, 2 value. This is nothing but your theta DQ. This is nothing but theta DQ. So this theta DQ is containing the information omega t, that is nothing but omega 1t, that I have explained already in the second slide. This is it can be lower than omega. So these three possibilities are there. So whatever theta dq, so now we can change. If I change this theta dq or omega 1, any, if I control this omega 1t, then I can control theta dq. So how can we control this omega 1? That is to control the d and q axis. So that rotation we are giving here, at what speed it should rotate and from which position it should rotate, that is given by this. So this is the angle that is integration of omega 1. So how we are deriving omega 1? So omega 1 is derived from some f. So f into 2 pi, that is nothing but your omega. But here I have done some signal we are giving. It is having
Excuse
some 50
me,
hertz frequency. Yes, sir.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Your voice is
Yes.
breaking. Excuse me, Rajan.
Yes, sir.
Rajan, sir, your voice is
Yes, sir.
breaking.
Okay,
Please
let
check
me
check
refresh
connection.
2 seconds, sir. Hello, is it clear now, sir? Hello, is it clear now?
Yes, sir, it is clear. It is now clear. Hello.
Okay,
Yes, sir, it is clear. You can.
minute whatever I explained that I am repeating. Okay, thank you, sir, for pointing out this. Okay, so now here what I omega 1. What is omega 1? Omega 1 is a frequency or speed at which our dq axis is rotating. Our dq axis is rotating, and its projection is given by vd and vq value. So that we know. So now this theta d this omega 1. So when omega 1 is integrated, it will become omega t, and that omega t is become theta dq. It becomes theta dq. So now how f1 we are multiplying by 2 pi, so we are getting omega 1. That is in radian. Nothing. We are doing just changing in the radian to get this angle theta dq as a omega t in the radian terms. Okay. But here some feed forward we have added. This feed forward, if we are VB and VC, we are going to feed here. We are going to feed in this algorithm that is having tentative 50 hertz, and that may be varying in terms of. So you can see that this VA, VB, VC is containing some frequency 50 hertz. So I'm giving just feedback 50 hertz, and I'm giving a task PI controller to adjust some delta F. So whatever variation in input frequency will be there, that you adjust. So here up to this, we reach up to F1. So now the terms that how we are arranging this PI controller block. PI controller block. In this, if speed now for this, if we go here now, This is C. Now our space vector is somewhere here. Just assume that somewhere here. Space vector V. If V is having some omega speed, that is fixed. N already seen in that PPT. So if DQ reference frame is having some higher frequency, omega 1, that is higher than omega, then what will happen? Here some Q magnitude, can it be positive or negative? Is it positive or negative? Can you say? If this omega 1 is greater than omega, means rotation of dx is faster than the v vector, then ये q की वैल्यू क्या आएगी? पॉजिटिव आएगी. Are you agree? Is everyone agreeing with this? Q value will be positive. So if omega 1 is greater than omega, then Q value is positive. So if Q is positive, so here you can see there is some internet issue here. I'm not able to solve it. I'm really sorry if sometime my voice is breaking. So you can say that please repeat whatever topic I missed in that. So will be positive. So this error will be positive. Here some error will be positive. So when error is positive, then this delta F will increase. Delta F rotate at speed. Now it will increase the speed of d axis. So it will try to reach with the vector speed. So when this VQ will be 0, so if we go to the back slide, that we are forcing our d axis to keep in the to stay in the vector, on the vector. So it is aligning always vector. So VQ value will be this much. Whatever equal to VM, that will be the VM. Whatever VAVBC, and your VQ value will be 0. So your VQ value will be 0. So VQ one will be equal to omega. That is nothing but our this condition. That is nothing but our this condition. Omega 1 is equal to omega. So this is achieved using this SRF PLL. Implement it, or how can we verify it? This was all about the implement theory. So now how to implement it using microcontroller. Okay. So to implement in the microcontroller, we can use this Visum Blaze platform. Visum Blaze. We'll see that how to make that code to implement this SRF PLL. Okay. So same code, how can we develop? Which video we are going to see? So Junaid, I reported for this STM32 microcontroller. Okay. So Junaid, I request you to play a video. Am I audible, Junaid?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir,
please
you are
play a
audible.
video.
Okay.
Okay, please play.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
Welcome participants. So here in this,
Sir, audio is audible too?
yes, audible. It is audible, Junaid.
And yeah, in the SRFPLL video I'm playing. Okay, sir.
Okay, Sarapyalala. Okay.
Yeah.
Demonstration. We are going to see the performance of SRPLL, which we have implemented using Vyzoom block set program we have already seen. So according to program, what we are doing is at this ADC, out of this 9 ADC, we are using 2 ADC, one for magnitude change, second for frequency change, and that we will change using these ports, as we have already discussed about the port. So now this port, when we vary this port, one port, then voltage variation we can observe. When we vary other port, then we can observe the frequency variation in the input signal as we have programmed. So we
Should I
can
pause
vary
it, please?
the voltage.
Okay, so here in this starting, what we were explaining is, so we need some variable frequency and a variable magnitude source to verify the angle tracking. So if some magnitude in the voltage is happening in the grid side, so at that time also it should give the stable angle estimation, as well as when the frequency change is happening at that time also it should give. So here program is developed to test the algorithm. So how can we test this algorithm? So we are giving two input using ADC. So I will explain that how we are programming this ADC and how internally we are generating a source. So inside the controller itself, we have generated a source, three-phase source, which is having a variable voltage as well as variable frequency. That is very easy to make inside the controller. So input in the controller are the magnitude of the frequency and the magnitude of the voltage that will be given using the potentiometer. Okay, so that was here in this video we tried to explain here. So two potentiometer is there, that blue color. Using that we will change the frequency as well as we will change the voltage. Okay, continue, Junaid.
Generated inside the controller, that generally we will give here when we work with the actual circuit. At that time we will give some AC voltage here, and that we will take inside and we will do the SOGI. But right now we are not connecting some power circuit, but we are here generating that 3 voltage inside, but the frequency and voltage control we are keeping in our hand. So that we are doing here using this port and this port. Now that value will go inside that frequency input and voltage input, then it internally it will be converted in that magnitude of voltage and that magnitude of frequency. So that voltage RMS value it will show here as we have decided in the code, and the input frequency will be decided here as we are seeing inside the controller through this LCD. We can say that whatever process is happening inside, that we are looking inside. So this value, actually first value whatever we are seeing 200, that is a peak value of voltage, and that is nothing but our VD. So if our PLL is working correctly, then our D axis will be aligned on the vector, voltage vector, which is represent in the ABC space or in the DQ space as well. So in the DQ space, D axis will be aligned on our space vector. That's why VD will be the peak value of our voltage. So VRMS is 141 into √2, that is becoming a VD value. This is the VQ value, that will be 0, because our, again the reason is same, our space vector is aligned with space vector and D axis are aligned with each other. So we can say that our reference frame is aligned correctly on the d-axis, space vector. So here 50. So this is the estimated frequency using that PI controller output, whatever we are getting, that estimation is happening accurately. So this is the actual voltage frequency and this is the estimated frequency. So now what we will do in the first exercise, we will vary this voltage, input voltage magnitude, but we will keep frequency fixed. So we will first see the variation in the voltage. So now to observe it inside, from inside, we have taken two signal out using the DAC. So one will be the V alpha, one will be V beta. After that, what we will do, we are having only two DAC. And if you want more than one signal, if you want to see, then we have multiplex one signal, that is V beta and theta, as we have explained in the code, that in this second channel. So what we'll do, we will place this key. When we press this key, the signal coming out from the second channel, it will be changed to V beta. So V beta to theta. So here we will see. So right now V alpha and V beta is clearly visible here. V alpha and V beta, we can see. So it has some magnitude, peak to peak magnitude 1.17 and frequency is 50. And so yellow one is a V alpha. If I pause it, then it will be more easy to understand. So here, this yellow one is V alpha. This green one is V beta. So here we are saying that is exactly 90 degree behind the alpha axis or alpha voltage, V alpha and V beta we are observing. So now what we will do is, let me run it again. So it is running. If I press the key, you see. So second channel V beta is converted in theta. So first we will observe this. So now what I will do is, I will vary the potentiometer. I'll vary the potentiometer. And we will observe that variation here in the LCD. See, it is varying. So as I am varying the input voltage, my VD component is increasing. VQ is 0. So how it is possible? Then it is possible when and then and only then if our PLL is working correctly. So change in the input voltage, it is tracking, and it is always making D-axis on the voltage axis. So it is maintaining our angle estimation, and we can say that estimated frequency is also 50. So this estimated frequency also 50, and the result is changed here only. Now this same thing we will see in the scope. So in the scope we can see that this is the magnitude which is increased to 2 point something. Now if I reduce this value, so there is no disturbance in the estimation, alpha beta conversion, there is no difference, you see. So it is working perfectly. So there is voltage change we are giving in that. The alpha beta construction is very nice. Now we will change this to theta. So now theta we will observe by changing its coupling. So here I am changing its coupling. So now here AC coupling is there, that I am making DC. So you see, now some volt per division I am adjusting. If I stop it, so you can see this is our V alpha voltage. So our angle we are getting is this. This is the theta alpha A. Sorry, theta alpha. We can say this is the theta alpha, or we can say the V alpha is always same as a VA. So it is always in phase with VA. So A axis and alpha axis are same, as we have discussed in the theory also. So we are tracking actually the angle of voltage A. It is nothing but same as the angle of V alpha. So we are seeing exactly tracking of this angle is happening. So now what I will do, I will give some magnitude change. So now we'll give some magnitude change. if I give some magnitude change here, so see, now we are giving some magnitude change. You see, is it visible? So here we can see that voltage is increasing. So as voltage is increasing, theta is maintained. See, theta is maintaining. See, we have increased voltage here, peak to peak value. Here you see, it is maintaining correctly. It is maintaining correctly that angle. It is tracking that angle. So this was the demonstration for SRF PLL, where we have applied some input voltage change. With that input voltage change also, tracking of the angle is accurate, that we have observed in this. Now we will see the frequency change. Now here we will see the frequency change. So here input voltage we will fix to some 222. Corresponding peak value will be 314. And this is the input frequency, and this is the output of so in SRF PLL this frequency. So we will change this frequency, input signal frequency. So according to the change in the input signal frequency, the change in this estimated frequency should be observed. So here when I change it, so now you clearly observe I am decreasing the frequency. With the decrement in the frequency Fi, so frequency estimated also changing. Now if I, let us see, if I increase the frequency, see, there is no change in voltage because we kept voltage fixed. But VD component and VQ component we should observe. VD component is almost constant. VQ component is varying bit, but after some small time, it is again resetting that to the VD. So some variation is happening because input frequency is varying. Because of that, SRF PLL is trying to track. In that process, the D axis is little bit going behind the our voltage vector. That's why some minus VQ component is coming. So you can observe this. Sometime it is coming plus VQ. So now if we go positive direction, then you can see if we go in positive direction means our voltage is staying bit behind than that D axis. See, that's why some minus value will come. If I decrease the frequency, so plus value will come. You see, it is coming plus, again it will reset. So it will. So what is happening is our D axis is some, when frequency is varying, at the time our D axis is going little bit ahead of our voltage vector or little bit behind of voltage vector. In our SOGI, our SRF PLL algorithm will track that change in the frequency, and it is increasing the speed of D axis or it is decreasing the speed of the D axis according to the requirement. So this is the happening. If I increase, you see, so our axis is going ahead or behind, like that it is happening. That result we are seeing in the VQ. So some VQ component we are observing, but after some small fraction of time, it is again aligning the D axis with the vector. So our vector is rotating at that rate only. That is nothing but 84 something. But our D axis we are maintaining. So in maintenance of D axis, in this, we can observe that variation, and it is tracking that. Now we will see in the scope. So now we will track that. So we have taken angle again. So right now some frequency is 83 and angle tracking is correct. Now I will change the frequency and we will observe in the oscilloscope. So frequency, you focus in the frequency of the signal also. So you see frequency is increasing. It went 90. So after 90, I am reducing it. You see, it is tracking angle very accurately. You see, so our estimation of angle is happening very correctly. With this we can say. So I can go below the 50 also. But generally, this much variation in the frequency we cannot observe in the actual system. But our robustness of the system or this algorithm, we can verify with this that it is able to track the change in the frequency easily. So this was the demonstration of SRF PLL in our hardware. So I hope program is also clear and this demonstration also very much clear to everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so this was the performance of SRF PLL algorithm that we have implemented in the controller. Now the remaining part is how can we implement it. So same thing you have seen that we have utilized the many peripherals that Junaid has already explained. First peripheral is ADC, second peripheral is DAC, third peripheral is LCD. So this three peripheral majorly we have utilized, and the remaining part is processing power. So we have we have utilized the whatever processing capability is having that STM32 controller. So Junaid, is any break is there, or I can continue here with explanation of that?
We will take a small break here. We will
Okay, sir.
continue
Okay.
3:45 and then we will continue.
3:45. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think my screen is
Yes, sir. It is visible.
now. Let me explain this code that where LCD we have programmed, then ADC we have programmed in the MATLAB environment. So in the program, which is really very much rich with different peripherals. So already we have discussed this. Same, so first we code. Have demonstrated how to implement this using start with the algorithm. So actually this is our base algorithm. So what we did is 3 voltage we have generated. So 3 voltage, actually we don't have such variable source which can give some voltage variation. Instead of going for variac, there again we cannot change the frequency. So if we get the variac and if we change the voltage using variac, then frequency change is not quite possible. Applied here to verify this algorithm. So this algorithm, so as we have demonstrated, source to verify this algorithm. Program itself. So what we are doing is we are converting ABC as well as we can change ABC to alpha beta. So here ABC first converted into that is dq, and that angle is given using this theta dq, and this theta dq is forcefully making vq component to 0. This vq component we have made frequency over speed. We can say frequency over speed of the axis. So now how can we implement? So this algorithm we are using frequently for simulation. But I want to say that this is not a simulation demonstration we have done. So now for that, first part is visible clear. Now I think it's clear. Hello.
Yes, sir,
Hello.
it is visible.
So this block it will explain some few basic exercise. So from that exercise only, similar we are doing is we are outside of the controller. So we are having one controller. Some that is PA0 and PA1 pin are there. A port 0 pin and A port 1 pin. Where we are 0 to 3 volt, not more than that, because the pin of the controller, that is STM32, this controller pin is tolerable up to 3 volt. We are giving value between 0 to 3. Then this ADC is a part of controller that will convert that value in terms of 0 to 4. Value of 0 to 3 in 0 to 4096, that is a digital number. So this becomes the our task is to get actual value, original value. How can we get the original value which is outside? That is 950 is that. So here we will get again the big value. Same value, same value, whatever value we are changing outside value we can have inside the controller. Now our task is that first channel should give the magnitude change. So whatever value we are varying here, in the voltage, so Vm sin omega t we are generating. So this Vm, or I am changing it to 0 to 450. So now when I change, here value will come, that is half of this, half of 450, that is 225. So if some value, so I can vary the value of or magnitude Vm and I can vary. So this was all about this potentiometer value will vary the magnitude of voltage. So this block three-phase voltage generator. So whatever magnitude you will give and whatever frequency you will give, according to that it will generate the three signal Vm sin omega t minus and sin omega t minus 2 So this magnitude will be common, Vm, Vm, Vm. So whatever magnitude we are giving here, same magnitude will be this VABC voltage will have. Okay, and the same frequency in that video, how he was varying the magnitude as well as the frequency of the voltage given to the PLL algorithm. It was here, PLL algorithm. Which is having a variable frequency and variable voltage. Is it clear now this part? The implementation using ADC, three-phase source we have created. I hope this is clear. Okay, so now we will go for other part. In alpha, and here getting the angle. So nothing but our angle of A, voltage A. Theta A here. That is nothing but theta dq. According to dq axis angle as well as A voltage angle. These three are set. That is a vector angle. So this we have achieved by this PLL controller. So this is inside the control. VQ. So we are having alpha and which is the AC value, which are the DC value. Can anyone speak or comment about this? इसमें AC value कौन सी है? DC So the thumb rule is V alpha and V beta, that is always alternating quantity. So it is difficult to observe. It is difficult to observe. So generally, this value scope we need to take it out. So how can we take it out? So this angle also among that category. Because it is alternating value. It is difficult to observe over the LCD. This we can observe over. We saw that VD will be there here. VD will be here. So we have printed VD value on the LCD. This AFE, which was the estimated frequency over here. So there was a three blocks. Block was giving VQ and third was giving the frequency. That is the estimated frequency. Of the grid. So this three VD, VQ, and FE, that is a DC quantity using LCD. So we will utilize LCD to observe this. Beta are the AC quantity. So to observe this AC quantity, we will so value. So the digital value will convert in the analog using the scope. So now we go for implementation of DAC. So it is also the very simple course, here that this is not a conventional. We need to put some this explained in the code also. Initially, we was observing on the screen. When we was pressing some key at that time, we observed V alpha and angle. So actually observe the multiple signals simultaneously, then we can switch the V beta, we have switched to angle. So when we V alpha and angle, if you remember in the video. And have the peak value of 450. Value of 450. Because V alpha also is having a same. So we are converting that value in 0 to 3. It can give output in the terms of 0 to 3. So we have arranged this up to get this value. So this was the alternative value. So this was, now it's all about the again. So we will figure the LCD. Take 2 times. Time first and second, like that to configure. So for line 1, so in the video that was planned actually. So V in, so value we have taken, so 1 by 1.41. So here RMS value was displayed. What program we made is VD we have printed, then VQ we have printed, then this frequency is input frequency. So estimated frequency will always follow this. Always follow this. If it is not, so this is our input data. These are the second line is the output data. So that is output of the angle. Then VD will be VM and VQ will be 0 and FE is configured, or we can program the display block. Except this is why this all are also why blocks. This is also metal block set. This is the remaining part. So we use switch PLC here. As a will end this beta 2 or DSC. This was the program to to implement this SRPL, sorry, SRPL. So is there any doubt how we have done it? So it is very easy. Most full for programming of STM32. Is this clear to every? Hello.
Excuse me, sir. Your sound is breaking now.
So up to
Rajan, sir.
okay, now
Your sound is breaking
yes, yes.
continuously. So please do something.
My network. SOGI implementation.
FLL. Okay. So,
SOGI FLL.
is it possible for you to explain that, or should I explain that SOGI in brief in 5 minutes? Then I will play the video. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yes. So no problem.
Remaining. Okay. Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let me, sir. I'm taking. I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Earphone છે.
I'm just opening a MATLAB. So. So my screen is visible to everyone, right? Hello, am I audible?
Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. And my screen is visible. Okay. So, as Rajan sir has explained in the SRF PLL really well. So, in this the SOGI FLL technique, so the just this all of the component we have used this push button and ADC. You can see there's the voltage change. The Rajan sir was wearing the port on the ADC channel. That this ADC using this ADC and the magnitude of this sine wave was changing, and accordingly he was able to change the frequency with this second ADC channel. So this all of the other parameters and ADC is same. Okay, so you can see this the DQ transformation Rajan San has explained. Okay, so from that, just this information, this SOGI FLL technique we will have to implement. So for this, we have this small reference of this paper. Let me show you. Am I audible? So this reference we are using in order to create achieve this SOGI FLL technique in our simulation and as well as hardware. So after the session, I will share this uh, PPT with Paresh sir, and he will send it back to you. Okay. So uh, no any changes in there. You can see the V alpha. This algorithm SOGI FLL is giving us this V alpha, then angle what angle we are taking is frequency it is giving us. Okay, so that we will be observing on our experiment. Okay, so I will again play a video of experiment video. Okay.
So in this SOGI,
uh, Audio is audible of this video.
No, sir. No.
Okay, let me play it.
PLL technique. So we have
Now.
understood the code very well. So now
I think it is
see
audible, right?
Audible. Yes, audible.
it on the controller. So in this SOGI PLL technique, so we have understood the code very well. So now let's see it on the controller itself. So first let us understand the LCD. So you can see the first line of the LCD, it is having the voltage which is applied voltage, and this applied RMS voltage, and this frequency is of the calculated frequency through this SOGI technique. So okay, and this second line, the first component is the voltage D component of the voltage applied, and the Q component of the applied voltage, and this is the frequency of the applied voltage. Okay, so you can, and by varying this ADC port, I will be varying the applied voltage here, and by varying this second port, I can vary this applied voltage is frequency. So we will observe it on the DSO screen. So on the from the DSC, the first DSC is giving us the V alpha, and the second DSC is giving us the V beta right now. So you can see this yellow one is the V alpha, and the blue one is the V beta. So the both are having 90-degree shift between each other. So this V alpha and V beta is proper. So now I'll vary this. So first let us also check the frequency through the theta. So ultimate aim of this SOGI technique is to obtain the theta. So now I'll check. We can check the theta of the this applied voltage frequency. So now I'll press this button. So you can observe it on the DSO screen. So this blue one is your theta, and this yellow one is your voltage. So now I will apply the more voltage by varying this port. You can see the applied voltage is being changed, and the magnitude of the voltage on the DSO screen is also increasing. You can see, but it is maintaining its angle calculation. It is properly calculating its angle. Okay. So now I will change the frequency of this signal. So by varying the frequency, so you can observe the frequency of this being increased. So now I am increasing, same way I can decrease the frequency as well. So we have set this frequency the limit of 90. So now I will set the maximum up to this its frequency. So I will set it to the 90 hertz. And at the 90 hertz, this theta calculation is also proper. Okay, now I'll increase the scale per division, time per division. So you can see the theta calculation is being done properly by this SOGI technique. So hope you have understood this SOGI FLL technique.
Okay, so first of all, we are yes, sir.
Am I audible now clearly?
Yes, yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, just zoom it here. I will explain little bit here. Okay, in the middle, SOGI. Okay, so here what is the major difference between that two technique that we will clear here. Almost time also 10 minutes is there. Then we will see some question answer related to implementation. Okay, so here the major part is the here only the algorithm we are changing. Display part is same, as well as ADC part is same, as well as that DSC part is same. So only how we are deriving the angle, that method is changing. So instead of this, right now in the research, many algorithms are there where the some pollution in the voltage are there, means harmonic is there in the present, harmonic presence is there in the voltage. Then how can we derive the accurate information of the angle? So that is also important thing. So if we are developing some algorithm that we can easily verify here by giving some polluted voltage as well as the variable voltage as well as the variable frequency. But here the advantage or magic of this SOGI FLL is we need only one voltage to be sensed. So if you remember the previous case, so here we was giving three voltage as input. So VA, VB and VC. But in the SOG algorithm, only one voltage information is required. Using that voltage information, you can calculate the angle. Rest thing is the theory related to it. So this algorithm is very powerful and it can it reduce significantly the number of sensor required in the implementation, as well as it will give the fast dynamic response compared to SRF PLL that we have observed actually when we was implementing. So this was the only major thing. The rest thing is only the estimation of V alpha and V beta here that we will do here. So this is the only thing that I wanted to point out, that between these two algorithms, SOGI FLL and SRF PLL, both are doing same thing. Both are estimating the angle of grid voltage. That is theta A. It is estimating VA and its angle. Okay. Thank you, Junaid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can continue.
Yes, sir. So I think, sir, we have concluded today's topic, right? FLL and SOGI FLL and SRFPL, both of the techniques.
Yes, if participants want to ask any question related
Yeah,
to
yeah,
implementation, they are welcome to ask these
yeah.
questions. Please.
Anyone has any query regarding today's session? Yugal, sir. Yugal, sir, is there or not today? Yes, Yugal, sir, is there. So If any participant has any query, we have still left some time, so we can have our Q&A session regarding whatever we have done in this past 3 days. Okay, and tomorrow we'll be seeing the implementation of PV inverter, how we can get the power from the solar and fed it to the our grid. So that we will see. We have scheduled for tomorrow, and other than that, you can ask for the whatever the queries and questions and doubts regarding the 3 sessions we have attended till now.
Sir, in the tomorrow session, we are going to integrate the battery also.
No battery. Only the PV sources, solar.
So
panel.
actually in the DC link, if you connect the battery, sir, then the active power you can transfer in the bidirectional manner. So it is very similar to that. But here actually whatever source we are going to use, it is that will be SPV, solar photovoltaic. So that solar photovoltaic cannot take the power, or we cannot store the power at DC side. So only bidirectional power flow will not there, but you can consider the similar to battery operation, where battery is feeding power in the grid. So same control you can utilize for battery also. But the rest part is in the during in the battery, the outer loop you can remove. That is the DC link loop. So we are going to discuss whatever control in that. So if you remove the DC link control, and only current control is important, that you can utilize when you integrate the battery, as well as some advanced control where voltage control is also required at DC side. That we will see in the next session, sir. So you can raise that question there at the time, sir. If we want to integrate the battery in the same platform, how can we do? So it is very similar. Minor change is there. Same thing is applicable for solar as well as in the wind farm also. Similar way we can integrate with the grid. Okay. So that front end converter which is connected to grid is having the same control if you connect DC side battery, solar or wind plant. Okay. So that we will see in the next two session. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one more question. Like
Yeah, please, please.
yesterday we have discussed about the MPPT algorithm and
Yes.
its implementation.
Yes.
Suppose if I want to control the DC-DC converter, which is connected
Yes.
to the PV panel, and
Yes.
if you want to achieve the voltage regulation at the load end as well as the MPPT, then is it possible to get both things with one converter?
Our load end means at the grid side, sir, are you talking about, or at outputs of the DC-DC
DC
converter?
bus. I'm talking about the DC bus,
Okay.
output of the
No,
DC-DC
no, no,
converter.
sir. One converter. So in that case, if we are having a two stage, like first stage is DC-DC converter, and then second stage is DC to AC converter, which is interface with the grid. So then the only MPPT converter can only do the one task, that is the tracking of the power. So that load side, which you are saying as a DC voltage, that is a DC link voltage, that should be controlled by the inverter, and that always it will be controlled by the inverter only.
No, sir.
Generally, it is.
Question is that if inverter is not there, okay, inverter is not
Mhm.
there, and if you want
Okay.
to control the DC bus voltage, suppose in the output of the
Uh,
DC-DC converter, I am connecting my DC load, okay,
right,
and
right, right.
I want to control the voltage of that particular bus. So is it
Mhm.
possible to control the bus voltage as well as to track the MPPT with the same DC-DC converter?
No, 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 sir. It is not possible. But if you can, there are many specialized converter which can do both the tasks. But using the conventional boost or buck converter, you can do means single switch converter if you are having, that can control at a time one thing. It can do MPPT, or it can control the output voltage. Only two things is possible. Or at a time one thing is possible using our conventional converters.
So that means conventional converter cannot do the job, right, sir?
They cannot do the whatever job you are asking, that do the MPPT as well as simultaneously you do the voltage control at load side. Both tasks it cannot do simultaneously. At a time, one task you can give. Either it can control the voltage, or either it can control the MPPT, or it can dump the maximum power at output side.
Okay. So in that
Okay,
case,
thank
so
you.
the other topology will be applicable.
Maybe there are the converter which is having, actually that converter are generally called as hybrid converter. So there inherently there will be some two converter. So one converter or one switch, there should be more than two switches. There should be more than two switches.
Okay.
So one switch will corresponding to the MPPT task, and second switch will corresponding to regulation of the voltage. Then it is possible. But
Okay.
to do that also, you required some intermediate source. Some battery interfacing is required if you are having some weak source. So if you are having a solar, and if you are maintaining some fixed voltage, let you assume that you have 100 ohm resistor, and you are maintaining 100 volt across it. Then it if you are maintaining 100 volt means it will draw the constant power. Are you getting? It will draw
Sir.
the constant power, but PV cannot deliver the constant power because its power varies with the irradiation. So at that time, intermediate some battery or something is required in the case if you want to maintain the constant power across the load. So if your PV power is not enough, then system fails. It cannot maintain even the that voltage also constant
So in that case,
in
we
case
need to
of that.
have battery.
We need to give supplied some energy from the battery or something like this. It is really complicated case which we are discussing, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other query or question related to implementation? We have hands-on over this, so we can discuss related to that. Okay, I hope time is done also, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So
Any
I think
query?
Rajan sir, we can conclude today's session from our end. And
Okay, thank you. Thank
Paresh,
you. Thank you,
yes,
Junaid. Thank you, Paresh, sir.
yes.
Oh, thank you, Rajan.
So, sir, Paresh, sir, we are concluded. So, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, National Infotech Tech, Junaid, and especially Rajan. You have explained this practical today very nicely, very informative session. So I received various comment in chat box. Okay. So thank you once again, all participants. Thank you for attending the session. One announcement tomorrow, 17th, there is a lecture of Dr. M.A. Mullah from SVNIT Surat. He will talk about the design and development of VSC based fact controller. Okay, from 11 to 1, he will deliver the lecture. And afternoon, there is a lab implementation of PV inverter by National Infotech from 2:30 to 4:30. Please attend this two sessions. A link is given on the chat box. Will not give on WhatsApp. Please take the note. Okay. Thank you. And my request, you join tomorrow's session, morning session on 10:45 a.m. Okay. So it will be better for us. And the evening session at 2:15 p.m. Okay. Thank you. Thank you once again. Beapop, SSBT Engineering College. Thank you. Shall I quit?
Yes, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.